So while all you lucky people are enjoying your evening, living it up in your enclave, um, we're going to go over the crime maps. Obviously, these people don't have to worry because they're in a safe little enclave. They don't have to worry about crime. And when it does happen in their area, well, you're going to hear about it, of course. But for us here in the Barrens, well, we just don't matter. Oh, no. So it might as well be in the forest. So this is something that we're going to talk about here, and then we're going to get to the crime maps. They barely cover this. A Calverton man pled guilty to attempted murder charges leading to opening fire. 34 seconds. 34 seconds is all it gets. You know, I mean, it's unbelievable how this only gets 34 seconds. This happened back
at a candlelight vigil.
In the summer.
Stephen Reed today pleaded guilty to attempted murder and other charges. The 27-year-old shot two men at the vigil in Bellport last July. He then opened fire on others, including a woman and a 9-year-old boy. Reed fled the state and was eventually arrested in North Carolina. Reed also assaulted a corrections officer. The attack was caught on camera. It happened inside the Suffolk jail last December. Reed is expected to be sentenced in May to 14.
So he pled guilty. And this is the other story. Again, this was the original story. 15 seconds. I think this was the same thing. They say Bellport. It's really North Bellport.
We're investigating a shooting that happened in Bellport.
Detectives she doesn't care. She's
say
safe in
two
a
men
little
were
enclave
shot
in
after a
Nassau.
fight at a home on Brookhaven Avenue. This happened around 9 o'clock last night. The victims have serious injuries, but they are expected to be okay.
I'm not sure if this was related to the vigil, but I looked all over the internet. Nothing on this from News 12. Nothing about this. Nothing about the original shooting that happened at the vigil. They just have this story right here. And obviously, we have this story right here. This is the man. He's convicted of shooting attendees. I mean, how could this not be a big deal? So this happened that Stephen Reed, 27 of Calverton, was pled guilty to attempted murder in the second degree and other related charges for opening fire at a candlelight vigil in Bellport in July 2023. This was barely covered on the news. He was also convicted of an unprovoked attack of a corrections officer. So, yeah, he's going to be away. He's going to be in jail probably for the rest. He should be in jail for a long, long time, if not the rest of his life. This is a violent individual that shouldn't be out on the street. So, this shooting happened on July 6th, 2023. More than 100 people gathered in Bellport to celebrate the life of a community member who tragically died in a motorcycle accident the days before. Of course, that wasn't covered at all on South Shore 12. At the end of the day, I know you're saying, oh, but Bellport's on the South Shore. Well, it's talking about North Bellport, and because Bellport isn't a lily-white enclave, it's an area where it's mainly a majority population. Well, they don't care. I mean, the media is just so racist here. It's unbelievable. At the end of the candlelight vigil, Reed became involved in a physical altercation with another man. During the altercation, he pulled out a gun and shot the man at point-blank range in the upper right thigh. The bullet shattered the man's femur, passed through his leg, and lodged into his right shin. Vigil attendees placed a tourniquet on the man's leg and rushed him to the hospital. Minutes later, Reed, following the dispersing crowd, opened fire on another group of vigil attendees. Reed shot a man from close range. The victim suffered from 4 gunshot wounds. So this is a very violent man. And then he fled to North Carolina before being brought back to Suffolk County. So, I know it's a little hard to see with that. I wish they would change the graphics on this. It really is hard to see this. But, this is all. I think it happened in Brookhaven. So if this is the same spot that it happened in, I think Brookhaven Avenue right here. Pine Barrens, of course. But this is where it happened, right over here. It just, it's the woods. They don't care. They don't care about this area. This is where it happened right here. You can see this is the shrine for the guy who died. He probably right over here. You can see this it wasn't there before, and then you see it's there now. So this is where it happened right here. But no, did they ever send a reporter? No. Did they ever cover it properly? No. It just gets a passing mention because again, remember, these are the people they gear to. They're safe in their enclaves. They don't have to deal with any of this stuff. They're all white, privileged. living the good life while the rest of us have to struggle, this is a very racist place to live, Long Island. It really is. And if you're in a minority community like North Bellport, you're going to be completely forgotten. It's pretty much like Wyandanch over here, all right? I mean, look at all the this area nobody cares about this area. It's just disgraceful. It really is. So we're going to go from that to the crime maps now, because the crime maps kind of show what we're talking about here. And we've got these crime maps, so we're going to load the interactive map here onto the screen here. If we make this a little larger, here we go. So this is a violent crime. So the greens are the safer areas, the yellows are kind of like the questionable areas, and the reds are areas where there's a lot of crime. You'll notice the city is almost all red. So this kind of shows you what's happening here in the city here. All right. And I'm kind of surprised it has Hoboken in the red, because I'm pretty sure that's a pretty safe area. So I don't know why that it's doing this. But we're going to look at Long Island in particular here, all right? Because you can see the pattern here. The North Shore and the South Shore have more greens, and the middle has all the yellow and red areas here. You see the trend. This continues even out into Suffolk County, though. Like I said, some of the stuff is questionable. Why they have Fire Island as red, I really don't know. All right, this is the violent crime index here, right? So you even have the airport as red. I don't know why they have that, all right? But generally speaking, you can see the trend, especially for Nassau County. You can see the trend, right? The safer areas will tend to be out actually in the middle of nowhere, or the Hamptons, for instance. But even there's some, pockets of red that are in there. As far as the area this happened, North Bellport, they have it in a they don't have it as in that high of a color. So these crime maps are a little misleading. That's why I didn't really want to share them. So we're going to go to the overall crime map. All right, we got the violent crime map. Let's go to the overall crime map. I think that's better. So A is green, C is this brownish, yellowish color, and F is red, obviously. And this just goes over. Nassau County, though, does get an A+. All right, but we got to go by community here, and we can change this to by community. So, all right, let me go back to the interactive map, and let's take a look at Mineola, which, again, we have some green areas, but you can see a lot of areas that have colors in them. I'm just going to the overall crime here instead of the categorizing crime here. So you can see Garden City Park actually seems to have a lot of crime, and no surprise, the area around Roosevelt Field is also like an orange color. All right. But you see a lot, and this continues into Williston Park too. And even Garden City isn't all, I think Garden City's that safe, but it's not. And, especially the areas that border Hempstead, and Hempstead, which I'm surprised isn't red. I am surprised about that. Some of the things I'm surprised about with this thing, and I wonder how accurate it is. It's called crimegrade.org. That's the site I'm looking at here. But you'll see here as we go to the South Shore, you can see Rockville Center is nice and green for the most part, except for the area around the projects, because that area around the projects, it's like a little pocket of Rockville Center that has some issues. But other than that, you can see Lynbrook nice and green. Even Baldwin looks fairly green. Freeport, you start seeing a little more color. And then, surprisingly, in Belmore, which is kind of surprising. So I don't know if this does the rate. I don't know if it does. I think it might do just the total. I don't know. This site's just a little wonky, So just, I don't necessarily believe everything that this site says. Has some hot spots in Wandsworth too, believe it or not, but mostly green areas. And then as you get toward the middle, you see the more yellows pop up here in the middle. As you get toward the middle of the island, Westbury, Hicksville, obviously. Yellows, some reds there. Why the hell is Brookville red? I mean, that's just doesn't make any sense. But a lot of greens on the North Shore. So the North Shore tends to be fairly safe. And, of course, usual areas, Brentwood, and even has the Pilgrim Psychiatric Center as part of this in a crime area. That's no surprise that Brentwood and North Bay Shore is in a crime area. That's no surprise. Obviously, much safer as you head toward Islip and East Islip. And then another area that seems to be fairly safe, obviously, Holbrook, Sayville, Patchogue to some extent, though. As you get in the East Patchogue, you start having some issues. And then Bellport. I'm surprised they don't have North Bellport. They have it slightly shaded over there. And as we go in the middle of the island, why is the Brookhaven Labs in red? But everything else is fairly green out here. But a little pocket of red over here. Frandle Row, which doesn't make any sense. Riverhead, that doesn't surprise me. There is a decent amount of crime in Riverhead. And then as you head out to the Forks, generally speaking, there are some areas, and then there's another pocket here. No, they have Stony Brook as red, so I don't understand that. I think maybe they're just looking at the total amount of crime and not actually. It's saying per 1,000 residents, so that's what it says. All right, we can switch this over to property crime. All right, let's load property crime. All right, let's see how this goes. This will. So you can see, Mineola definitely has some issues with crime. No surprise. This also goes into New Hyde Park, right? This is looking just at property crime here. All right. You can see South Shore fairly safe. Long Beach is fairly green as well. But again, you have your pockets North Amityville. There's Sunrise Mall in there. The safest area seemed to be the North Shore, followed by the South Shore. But yeah, that Brentwood area has a lot of crime. Some around Ronkonkoma, Stony Brook. I mean, this doesn't really change all that much whether I change it. Property crime, violent crime doesn't really change the shading that much. It really doesn't. So this is violent crime, all right? And this is where you see Hempstead really is. I think this is the crime. This is probably the best statistic we can use because this is the crime that's the most scary, and you can see. This area in the middle of the island just has. You can see this is where the most shades of colors are. Obviously, the city is again red, and all of this. And I'm surprised again that they have Jersey City and Hoboken being red because those are fairly safe areas. At least I thought they were. I mean, why is the city all red like that? I mean, the whole city really. Maybe we got to zoom in a little more. I don't understand that. I really don't. Right. Of course, if you look at Queens, also, all these just have a lot of crime. But you can see it's kind of spreads into the middle of the island here. And Hempstead obviously has a lot of violent crime. So we're looking at the violent crime now. Obviously, look at all the green around Rockville Center, except for that one pocket around the projects. Pretty green around Lynbrook. Once you go a little north to Lakeview, it starts going downhill. And you look at Long Beach. Yeah, there's one part of Long Beach there where there's some crime. Right around the train station, there's some projects. But other than that, it shows it fairly safe. Obviously, yeah, Belmore and Wantaw, mostly green, except for one pocket here in Merrick, and then that pocket in Wantaw. But again, it's fairly safe. And then it's interesting, once you go and cross from Massapequa, which is, of course, nice and super safe, and you cross the border into Suffolk, it changes. Amityville and Copac definitely have more crime. As you get to Lindenhurst, it goes down more. And of course, like Babylon, you got the deep green areas, of course. And then you got Wyandanch, which has a decent amount of violent crime. Obviously, you got this whole area around Brentwood. Why do they have Connecticut River State Park in orange? I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with everything that this thing is saying, but it seems like, yeah, the North Shore tends to be, if you're looking at Suffolk County, yeah, the North Shore tends to actually be safer than the South Shore in the western part. As you go to the central part, it's fairly safe except in certain areas. But again, this Lake Grove, this whole Lake Grove, Center Reach, South Talcott area is pretty safe. I don't know why Stony Brook has an elevated number. And then of course Riverhead being again an area where you're going to see elevated violent crime. And if we take this out and look at the other place, yeah, let's look at New Jersey because. Yeah, let's look at Toms River. So Toms River, it seems like the northern and eastern parts are safer, and the western parts have issues. Why is this in red? Why is Manchester in red? Manchester never struck me as being a dangerous area. So I don't know if I'm buying everything that's on this thing. I don't know what this thing is. Lakewood also, that's not kind of a surprise. Again, this is violent crime. Let's see if we can switch this to more. All right, we can do individual. We can actually go by individual crimes. Let's do that. Let's go to robbery. All right, so this is robbery only. All right. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, quite a bit of robbery around Mineola. Also showing some in, was that East Rockaway? Oceanside? But again, I don't know if I'm buying this thing. I don't know, man. These numbers seem awfully high, and I'm kind of surprised. I really am. But we're going to go back to overall crime, and we're going to go into the searches. So we're going to actually look at crime by area, and I'll just do crime by zip code. So we'll put our zip code in, 11501, for Mineola, just for Mineola itself. All right, it kind of shows us a map, but it gives Mineola a C. All right. Violent crime grade is B. Property crime grade. Seems like we have a lot of property crime here. D minus. A crime occurs every 1 day and 4 hours on average in Mineola. A C grade means the rate of crime is slightly higher than the U.S. city average. Mineola is in the 39th percentile for safety, meaning that 61% of cities are safer and 39% of cities are more dangerous. This applies to Mineola's proper boundaries only. The crime rate in Mineola is 13.86 per 1,000 residents during a standard year. People live in Mineola generally consider the southeast part of the city to be safest. Your chance of being a victim of crime in Mineola may be as high as 1 in 30 in the southwest neighborhoods, or as low as 1 in 144 in the southeast part of the city. So this is their map here that they've got for Mineola. All right, now let's pick another town. It's annoying we can't actually put the town in here. We can't just, it has to be a zip code. I can't just type in Belmore, for instance. It won't let me. It has to have a zip code. But let's do Wantaw, 11793. I think that's Wantaw's zip code. And let's see how Wantaw does. Wantaw gets a B. Of course it's safer in Wantaw. Crime occurs every 1 day and 5 hours in Wantaw. Violent crime grade is B. Property crime grade is D. Other crime grade is A. So a B grade means the crime rate in Wantaw is 99.015 per 1,000 residents. And they consider the northwest part of the area as the safest. And they have a huge variation, as high as 1 in 21 in the southeast neighborhoods, as low as 1 in 258 in the northwest part of the town. So I don't know. I agree with all that stuff. I mean, why is there such a variation like that? I wanted to show you this site because I kind of discovered it, and I'm kind of, we'll go back. I got to go by zip code. So let's pick another area. Let's pick Rockville Center. What is the zip code for Rockville Center anyway? Let's see what the zip code is for Rockville Center. 11570. All right, so let's, because it has to go by zip code 11570. See, I already searched for it actually, so it actually will show up in here. So Rockville Center also gets a B. Violent crime grade B, property crime grade C minus, other crime grade B plus, and their crime rate is 9.129 per 1,000 residents during a standard year, and they consider the north part of the zip code to be the safest. Your chances of being a victim in a crime in 11570 may be as high as 1 in 67 in the west neighborhoods, or as low as 1 in 186 in the north part of the zip code. So, not surprising, Rockville Center is very, very safe. That's not a surprise at all. Let's get a zip code for another area on the South Shore. Let's do Babylon. Zip code. Zip code for Babylon. All right, there's 11702. We'll do 11702. 11702. So Babylon gets a B. So most of these other towns, you see Mineola is definitely getting a C. So Mineola has issues. And a crime occurs every 2 days and 11 hours on average. All right. A B grade means the rate of crime is slightly lower than the average zip code. All right. So it says 37% of zip codes are safer, and 63% of zip codes are more dangerous. The rate of crime in Babylon is 9.686 per 1,000 residents. So yeah, that's Babylon for you. All right. So again, they're safer than we are as well. All right. Let's do my old town, Westbury. If I can remember the zip code there, that would be nice. I don't remember the zip code. How could I not? Lived there for so long. Let's see, Westbury. It was 1-1. Oh man, I can't believe I'll have to Google it. I can't believe I forgot it, but it is 11590. Yeah, 11590. It was 115 something. 11590. That's my old town. So gets a C, just like Mineola. A crime occurs every 12 hours and 53 minutes on average, so a lot more frequent than Mineola. And violent crime gets a D plus. Property crime grade gets a D minus. Other crime grade gets a B minus. A C grade means the rate of crime is slightly higher than the U.S. zip. The rate of crime there is 13.89 per 1,000 residents in Westbury. And they consider the northwest part of the zip code to be safest. So, yeah, Westbury definitely has issues. That's not a surprise at all. That shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. And we will go further east. Let's go to Farmingdale zip code. Let's do that. Because I like doing it this way. It gives a grade, and it, it's all right. Zip code. Let's see. It is a zip code of 11735 in Farmingdale. So let's do that. And you can just go to this site. I'll put the link below so you can see how the areas. There's actually Farmingdale gets an A. So we're going further east, and it's getting safer. So violent crime grade C minus, property crime grade B, and A other crime grade. Remember, I did try to move to Farmingdale when I was moving out of Westbury, but I was discriminated against. All right. Otherwise, I'd be living there and probably a lot happier. The rate of crime in 11735 is 6.673 per 1,000 residents. And the south part of the zip code would be the safest. So Farmingdale is actually pretty safe. And again, I know the downtown. The downtown's still a decent downtown. And like I said, I tried to move there first. I tried to. And but I didn't. I know the transportation not as quite as good as Mineola, but you still don't have to worry about any trains skipping the station, so it's the benefit there, and you are closer to the Pine Barrens, of course. So let's go to another zip code. Let's get the zip code for, I guess we could do Ronkonkoma. And I've kind of done a lot of the towns already. We'll do New Hyde Park zip code. Yeah, we'll do New Hyde Park. What's their zip code? It is 11. I think it's 11040. What is it? What is zip code? 11040 is the zip code for New Hyde Park. So let's do that. C plus, not great. Not great. Crime rate 11.51 per 1,000. South part of the zip code to be safest. So you see what's going on here. We'll do Belmore as well. I don't know how to do Belmore zip code. Actually, I might have it in here already. I actually have Belmore in here already. Let's see. I think it's let's see. I think it's 11570. Was it 11570? That's Rockville Center, right? Okay. All right. Do Belmore zip code. 11710. I thought I did that already. All right. Let's see. So it showed up in there. Let's do it again. That doesn't show up in here. We'll do Belmore next. How does Belmore do? Belmore gets a C plus as well. Crime occurs every 20 minutes, 20 hours and 20 minutes in Belmore. And it is 11.95, so it's actually comparable to Mineola, at least according to this site. All right. So, not as safe as Rockville Center, that's for sure. Generally, the further east you go, the better. It seems like this site, at least this site, it seems like the further east you go, the crime numbers go down. So we'll get the zip code for. Let's do the zip code for Center Reach, the mid Suffolk town here. The number of zip codes here, which kind of make it a bit of a challenge here. It says 11720, so we'll use the 11720 zip code here. A. So you're definitely safer in Suffolk County. Violent crime grade B, other property crime grade A plus, other crime grade A minus. So their crime rate is 7.040 per 1,000 residents. All right, so that's pretty interesting. So again, the central Suffolk, as you get out to Suffolk, the middle is definitely a lot safer. It's more Nassau County and western Suffolk. In the middle, once you get from Ronkonkoma and start going east of there, the middle of Suffolk is fairly safe. We can actually do Deer Park, I guess. We can do the Deer Park zip code, which is, all right, they have a bunch of zip codes here. 11729 is the one we'll use. It doesn't let us do it by town, so I can't type in the town and do it. Let's see how Deer Park does. B. So Deer Park is a B. 9.291 per 1,000 residents during a standard year. So that's interesting. So now let's go and pick another zip. Let's go to the other place. The place I really don't want to wind up having to go live in, and that is Toms River. They get a C. Crime occurs every 8 hours and 59 minutes. Crime rate is actually higher there than central Nassau. It's 14.80 per 1,000 residents. And they consider the northeast part of the zip code to be the safest in Toms River. All right. However, you can pick other, because this is by zip code. Let's do another town there. Let's do Beechwood. What's the zip code for Beechwood, New Jersey? 08722. So let's do that. Because again, this goes by, and this is the map again, by the way. So you can see Toms River's not so great. And actually, Beechwood, not so great either. I'm not even going to put Beechwood in. It seems like it's the northern part of the town there. I'm not buying that. There's so much crime in it. I've always felt safe walking around there. I've never seen any troublemakers over there. So this site, I'm spending a lot of time on this site because I'm questioning the data. All right, I'm questioning some of this stuff, how they're putting this all together. It has a lot more bad areas than I expected for sure. All right, but let's get the zip code for. Let's get another zip code here. We will do the Brentwood zip code. All right. Well, no, let's pick an area. Let's do the Hempstead zip code. Yeah, let's pick the worst area on Long Island. I think Hempstead is the worst. All right, Hempstead is. Let's see what it has here. They don't really have a zip code here. It says there's a number of zip codes here. 11550. It looks like that's Hempstead. Let's do that. So C minus. You think it would be worse? A crime occurs every 9 hours and 17 minutes. The crime rate is 14.03. So technically, according to this site, the crime rate in Toms River is higher than Hempstead. I don't believe that 1 minute. So yeah, this site's a little bit wonky. All right, I really do think it is. We can go to other crime maps, sorry, because this site is definitely wonky. All right, there's crime mapping. So let's see if we can do this here. Let's do Mineola. I'll select an agency. So you have to select an agency. I don't know. I'm just going to hit go and see what happens here. It's not doing anything. It says select an agency, but it's not loading. I'm hitting go, and nothing's happening. Maybe there's stuff down here. Oh, maybe I have to near a location, maybe because the zip code doesn't work. We got to put 11501. Let's do this. Mineola. Maybe that'll cause it to work properly. Oh, here we go. All right. So this is Mineola, and it says no data provided for this map extent. Why? So there's no data for Mineola. So we have nothing. This site doesn't work for Long Island, I guess. So LexisNexis community crime map. We'll try this here. Don't want it to allow my location. Let's always hide location. Let's. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. So I don't know what this does exactly. It's not working either. Let's see. I don't see anything popping up here. What does this do? Map. Data grade. I don't know what this does. Doesn't seem like it wants to show anything here either. Alright, this doesn't work. So there's spot crime. This is another one. View crime near me. Okay, we're going to have to hit allow on this. Alright, so this kind of shows you the crimes that have occurred in Mineola at least. Assault. This kind of maps up burglary. No, I don't want to get alerts. Dismiss. We got robberies, burglaries. Oh boy. So this is what's happened. This is actually a good site here. So we can actually do this. I wish it would. It's not going to show everything. And then what's this? This is theft. So and then we could search another location here. Let's search Rockville Center. And there's some crime there. Not too much. Just one. Burglary. Yeah, it's pretty safe there. You can see. Pretty safe. Of course. Pretty safe. We'll now go to Belmore. Some things have happened in Belmore. Not too much. Looks like there's been assault, burglary. Maybe the southern part of the area there. But fairly safe. Fairly safe. Let's do Garden City. Yeah. Garden City's had some stuff. Well, it's mostly in Hempstead, actually. Or in the areas that border Hempstead. That's Hempstead. See a lot of, shots fired. Shooting. That's never a good thing. That's never a good thing. Farmingdale. There's been some instances here. What's this? What was that? Arrest. Okay, so these are some arrests that have been made. Not too much in Farmingdale. Farmingdale looks pretty safe. Yeah, it was that shooting. I remember that shooting that happened back by that school area. Hempstead's pretty safe. I meant not Hempstead. Oh my God. Farmingdale is pretty safe. Hempstead is dangerous. Farmingdale is very safe. Like I said, I'm not allowed to live there either, so that's the problem. See, well, sorry, no programs. You can't get to enjoy a safe area. You'll have to go shut up and live in Toms River. Well, let's see how Toms River does on this site. Oh, a lot here. Mostly thefts, but there were some shootings too. Now this is totally different than the other site. It has more of the crime on the north side of things. There were a couple of shootings here on the Garden State Parkway. There was a shooting apparently on December 29th, and then there was a shooting on January 5th around Oak Avenue. Robbery on a block of Route 9, but Toms River is pretty safe. There's been a couple of assaults over here, but Toms River actually is a lot safer than Mineola, according to this site. All right. I like this site better because it actually shows all the recent crimes going on. So Let's go somewhere like New York City. All right. Let's pick Jamaica, Queens. Oh, look at all this stuff going on. Yeah, a lot more. A lot more going on. A lot more assault, shooting, lots of assaults going on. Thefts, a lot of theft in the city. You can see a lot of theft going on here. All right, let's do Westbury. Yeah, a number of things going on in Westbury too. Number of arrests. This doesn't. I don't think this includes Newcastle. You see shooting. There's a shooting there. Oh, okay. Didn't even know about that. That happened on January 29th on Oliver and Elton Streets. A lot of theft. Robberies. Those are robberies. Okay. Got robberies. Burglaries. Old Punchy Road. Not surprising. A lot of, and a number of arrests too. Which again, this is not a surprise. This shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. It shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. Let's pick. We did Belmore already. Did Rockville Center. Let's head east to Babylon. Keep it on the South Shore. Oh, nothing. Nice and safe. Except here. Apparently there's a shooting on Ralph Avenue that happened on October 15th. That's more like North Babylon already, but it's still in Babylon. And then a bunch of arrests over here, it looks like. A lot of arrests over in that area. And this must be vandalism. So it was one kind of, but barely anything in Babylon. Super safe. Again, remember, these people here, they get to be safe. The rest of us have to deal with the crime. Let's do Deer Park. Yeah, decent amount of crime here. We've got a number of arrests. It's not terrible, though. Not terrible. Mineola is worse, actually, than Deer Park. Mineola is worse. How about Ronkonkoma? All right, a few things have happened here. A few burglaries. Looks like an assault. A robbery over here. But not terrible. Not terrible at all. All right. Let's do Hempstead. You'll see Hempstead will be all over. All right. Oh, yeah. Lots of stuff. Assaults. Got a number of shootings. Shooting here. Shooting here. Robberies. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on in Hempstead. A lot of stuff going on in Hempstead. That's not a surprise. Not a surprise at all. And let's do another area here. Oh, let's do Wantaw. Wherein Colton lives. She always lives the good life. Oh, there's nothing going on there. It's just one robbery and that's it. And maybe a theft over there. Nice and safe. Nice and safe for her, of course. All right. We did Tom's River, right? We did another town. Let's pick somewhere else, and I don't want to look at New Jersey. I'm just focused on Long Island. All right. I just put Tom's River in there because the plan. But I'm gonna wrap this video up shortly because let's do Ridge, the Pine Barrens. They don't actually have Ridge on here. Oh, here it is. Okay. Not a whole lot going on. Ridge is fairly safe, except for this area here where there was a shooting, and that happened back on August 22nd, 2023. There's an apartment complex here. There's a lot. Strathmore Ridge is known to be very dangerous. Other than that, it looks like we've got some arrests that have happened. And then one theft that happened over here. Other than that, Ridge doesn't seem to have too much crime. Riverhead does, though, so let's look at Riverhead. Yeah, Riverhead has some assaults on here. But not as much as you'd think, which is kind of surprising. I know there have been some robberies in Riverhead. I think the site is showing everything, but it's got some crime, Riverhead, for sure. It definitely has some crime. But let's go to Midtown Manhattan. I don't know if let's do Midtown Manhattan. Let's do the city because just to put things in perspective, look at how much worse things are in the city. A lot of assaults, no surprise, and thefts all over the city. The city has a lot of that. All right, let's do Jersey City. Yeah, a number of things. I'm surprised. Actually, is some crime in Jersey City. It seems some parts of it have assault. What about Hoboken? Because I think Hoboken's pretty safe. A lot of arrests, but not much else. So like people getting arrested, which means if the problem is they're going to get arrested, so they're going to get arrested. So seems like they're making a lot of preventative policing here in Hoboken. So you're not seeing too much crime over here, which is good. Pick another town on Long Island. Let's do Patchogue. All right, a number of thefts it seems, and vandalism, and some arrests. And one assault. All right, let's do New Hyde Park. I think that'll be the last one I'm going to do. Oh, a lot of theft in New Hyde Park. It looks like Floral Park's had a lot of theft. And assaults. Not safe. And a shooting, too, apparently. There was a shooting that happened back on February 25th. I didn't even hear about that one. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you details. We also have some burglaries, mostly along Langdale. So the Glen Oaks area, we know that the Glen Oaks area has a lot of problems. Maybe we could do Glen Oaks, because Glen Oaks is... And then I'm going to wrap it up here, all right? Oh, yeah, you should do some areas on the North Shore, too, I guess. Glen Oaks, yeah, a lot of crime there. Port Washington. Fairly safe. Not a whole lot going on in Port Washington, but that's also a safe enclave. That is, again, a certain demographic. Well, I mean, I don't think it's quite as obnoxious as the South Shore, but if you want to live in Port Washington, somebody in a program, you're not going to be allowed to live there. It's just another part of how the plan works, you know. If you want to live anywhere you want to live that's safe on Long Island and you're in a program, you're not going to be allowed to live there. That's what sucks. That's what sucks. That's how the plan works. So, on that note, I think I'm going to end it. All right. So, you know, it's all part of the plan. You know, it's all part of the plan. It's all part of the plan to force us out. You know, that's what it's all partly. You know, so look at that. Yeah, the Pine Barrens. I know it's well, it's gonna suck when I'm not gonna be able to enjoy the ones on Long Island anymore, and I'm gonna have to shut up and go live in New Jersey. But Mineola's got a lot of problems, as spoke about last night. You know, crime is a problem here. And there are plenty of other safer places to live on Long Island. Well, not plenty, but there are a decent amount, but they're all, you know, I'm not going to be allowed to live there. You know, it'll be the same old thing. You know, it's all part of the plan. You know, even this whole, like, there was an article about Ronkonkoma. I don't know what it was. There was an article about Ronkonkoma recently that I shared. Core Station Yard, new downtown. I think this is it. And, you know, I mean, yeah, it's just great. They're building new downtown, but guess what? There's no housing for people like me. Oh, so the core station yards in Ronkonkoma are going to be very expensive, you know, and it costs a lot of money to live in these apartments. You know, it would be nice. I would love to have a nice apartment like that, but no, we're not allowed to have that stuff. You know, in Toms River, they build apartment complexes like this, and people like us are allowed to live there, but no, we're not allowed on Long Island to have that. Sorry, you know. Maybe do Wine Dance Rising, which is, you know, in Wine Dance, who wants to live there, worry about getting shot. So, again, it's all part of the plan to drive us out. So, I've gone on long enough. Hopefully, if you've watched this whole video, thank you so much for putting up with me. And I'm going to wrap up this video now. So, yeah, the plan sucks, but, you know, I'm going to keep fighting it because I don't want to have to go shut up and have to live in New Jersey, that's for sure. But, you know, it seems like it does feel like no matter what I do that I'm going to wind up having to go live in, Toms River. That's right. That's where I'm going to wind up having to go live. Because that town just, they don't have an attitude against people like us. They let us live there. They build, I'll just show you the apartments that they built here. Let's show you where they are. Sorry, this is Main Street. Is it off here? It's off here, right? All right, so this is the downtown, and they built apartments. Yeah, that's apartments, affordable housing. It's just a lot of apartments for people with disabilities that live live here. All right, they build new apartment buildings in decent neighborhoods for people with disabilities in Toms River. They don't do that on Long Island. The only apartments that are built in decent neighborhoods are always expensive and for the yuppies. We're not allowed to live there. So this is what's going on. So it's where I know I'm going to wind up having to go live in Toms River, unless there's a miracle. I'm going to keep hoping and fighting for one. So thank you for watching, and good night.